We've been learning about the Revolutionary War. Today, we're going to do our History Chapter 9 review. It's page 185 and 186 in your workbook. Okay, I would like you to get it out and let's do it together because I want you to use this to help you study and be ready for your final history quiz, right? Let's look at number 1. It says, what war gave Great Britain control over North America? What war gave Great Britain control over North America? Now that could be a tricky question because most of the chapter that we read was about the Revolutionary War. But the war that came before that helped stir up a lot of feelings was the French and Indian War. The answer to number 1 is the French and Indian War. You remember, because Great Britain won this war, it gave them control, a whole lot more control of North America, right? North America had been colonized by people from all over the world, a bunch of different countries. But this war ended up giving Great Britain a lot of control of North America. What tax made the colonists angry? What tax made the colonists angry? Was it the tea tax or the coffee tax? Well, do you remember a lot of the colonists were people who had come from Great Britain, and drinking tea was an important part of their day, an important tradition that they did quite a bit of. So when Great Britain had a high tax on the tea, it made them angry, okay? And they had a protest where they threw all the tea into the Boston Harbor. So that was the tea tax. That's the answer to number 2. Number 3 says, what paper did the leaders write to declare their rights and freedom? The Constitution or the Declaration of Independence? Okay, both of those are important things that were written in America's history, but because this says declaring their rights and freedom, we know that the answer to number 3 is Declaration of Independence. This is when they announced their intention to form a new nation, right? Independence. That's a long word. Make sure Independence. Okay, the answer to number 3 is the Declaration of Independence. Who was the leader of the American Army? Was it Thomas Jefferson or was it George Washington? Do you remember? The leader of the American Army was George Washington. Thomas Jefferson was also an important person from that time. He helped write the important papers, the American papers, kind of saying what kind of nation they were going to be. Now let's choose a word to complete the sentences. This is number 5. It says, blank is money paid to the government, and our choices are British, independence, or tax. Okay, so tax is money paid to the government. The answer to number 5 is tax. Number 6, blank is to be free from another country. We can mark off tax. So would that be British or independence? That answer is independence. Number 6, independence. Free from another country, right? Number 7, it says blank. And we only have one left. The British were people who lived in England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales, which is why sometimes it's called Great Britain. It's more than one location, people who consider themselves as belonging to Great Britain. Number 7, British. We're going to run out of room on our board. British. Okay. Number 8, colonists dressed as Indians threw tea into the Boston Harbor or on the Lexington Green. Do you guys remember? It's called the Boston Tea Party, is sometimes what that protest is called. So we can know that number 8, I'll put it here, is the Boston Harbor. That is when they protested the tea tax. Number 9 says patriots were willing to, 1, fight for the king, or 2, fight for independence. Okay. Well, loyalists were the ones who wanted to stay loyal to the king, and patriots were willing to fight for independence. For independence. Okay. Number 10 says the British Army surrendered to the Spanish at Yorktown, the Americans at Yorktown. You know the answer to that one? The answer is the Americans. Right? The surrender, that's the last battle and the surrender at Yorktown showed that the war was going to be over. And then eventually the Treaty of Paris was signed and America was on its way to being a new nation. Now this is an interesting question on your Chapter 9 review. It says, write a sentence telling how the Revolutionary War has made your life different today. And that might not be something you've thought about before. But if the Revolutionary War wasn't fought and won, then North America would still be a colony of Great Britain. So we would still, the people, those of us who live here and are citizens here, would be citizens of Great Britain. Just citizens of a colony instead of citizens of our own nation. Okay, we would have a queen, and I wonder how differently life would be. It seems like a lot different, doesn't it? I love learning history. I've loved studying this together with you. I want you to work hard, make sure your Chapter 9 review is filled out correctly so that you're well prepared for your final history quiz. In English, we're learning about sentences and their parts, and we've been talking about how we can combine parts of a sentence. Yesterday, we worked on combining subjects, that you could take two different subjects and put an and give them the same predicate. Well, today we're going to talk about how you can combine two sentences that tell about the same subject. And the words in the predicate part that are different can be joined with and to make one sentence. All right, here's an example. Mr. Parsons plays guitar. Mr. Parsons plays basketball. Okay, so these two sentences have the same subject. Well, let's write it. Let's make one sentence. Mr. Parsons, and we will combine these predicates with an and to make one sentence. Mr. Parsons plays basketball and guitar. Okay, here's our combining word, and it's called a conjunction. It hooks up words and phrases and clauses, okay? So instead of having two sentences that end up sort of being repetitive, Mr. Parsons plays guitar, Mr. Parsons plays basketball, we can say Mr. Parsons plays basketball and guitar and make one sentence, okay? So we combine two sentences that tell about the same subject. The words in the predicate part that are different can be combined, can be joined with and to make one sentence. This is easy to do also with saying things that you like, right? I like brownies. I like coffee. The subject of that sentence is I, and I can combine the predicates with an and. I like brownies and coffee, right? It can be very simple, but it sounds good to combine them. Just remember your and, your conjunction, your combining word, okay? And then you still have your subject. Well, we don't want to circle our and because usually on your worksheet you're circling the action word, okay? But your and is what you're using to combine. So you have a worksheet today, page 289 to 290, where you have opportunities to do this, to combine sentences. Your very first one says, Mr. Turner goes to Peru. Mr. Turner goes to Brazil. Okay, well, we could join those parts that would be joined with and to make one sentence, it would be Mr. Turner goes to Peru and Brazil. All right. This is interesting. What they want you to do is draw a line between the subject part and the predicate part, which we did here. And then it says they want you to circle the words that are different that could be joined with and. That's interesting. That's a new bit of instructions. Usually they've been having you circle the action verb. But now, I like this. Let's do it to the sentence that Mrs. Parsons wrote here. We wrote it ourselves, didn't we? Mr. Parsons plays basketball and guitar. So we made our own sentence here. We put them together. Now, if you were just looking at these two, you'd write your line right there because that separates the subject and the predicate. And then these are the words that you can join with and. Okay? So when you write, if you wrote the sentence again, it'd look like this. The first few times you're looking at the sentences, they just want you to look at them like this. Divide the subject and the predicate and circle the ones that could be joined with and, right? And then you'll get to write some sentences, turn it into one sentence the way we did here. There's another place that says that I will read two sentences and you'll join them. Just make up a sentence that has, remember how we did in class together, in live class, where you just started coming up with sentences that had a double subject? In this case, I look forward to seeing what sentence you come up with a double predicate, okay? So I like this. I enjoy learning more about sentence parts and how they work together, how we can take them apart, understanding each piece of them. It helps us understand more what we're reading. It helps us be creative about what we're going to write and communicate. And I appreciate all your hard work on this. In science, we have been learning how the body works. And God made our bodies. He planned each part to work the way it does. Each part has a special job of its own. All the parts work together in groups called systems. Okay, so we've been learning about that. Each day we've learned about another system. Do you remember the first we learned about was the skeletal system? That's where all our bones, the bones are the hard part of our body. The bones have the three jobs, right? To support us, to protect the soft organs inside of us, and also to help us move, right? Because our bones, our skeletal system and our muscular system works together for us to be moving, right? So we have skeletal system. We're going to do a little chart here together. Skeletal system. We also learned about the muscular system. All the muscles in your body work together in the muscular system. God designed the muscular system to work together with the skeletal system. Your muscles make the bones and other parts of the body move. We talked about that our muscular system has muscles that we move because we want them to, like if we want to jump or wave our hands or reach out and try to get something that's far away. But we also have muscles that move whether we're thinking about it or not, like the really strong muscle that's in our heart that's beating all the time. We don't have to think, beat, beat, beat. It just does it all the time, okay? So our bodies are amazing. We also learned about the circulatory system. The circulatory system is the heart and the blood vessels that work together to form the circulatory system. This system has the job of moving blood to all parts of your body. Your blood moves through blood vessels. The blood vessels are tubes that carry it everywhere it needs to go. Your blood carries oxygen and nutrients that your body needs to live. So we also learned about the circulatory system. I like how circulatory system sounds like what it's about circle, about circulating your blood all throughout your body. Do you remember that's when we learned about our heart? Your heart is the size of your fist. So that's about how big your heart is right now. And as you grow and your hands grow bigger, your fist grows bigger, so will your heart, okay? So I think hearts are amazing. They're a powerful muscle that's working all the time to pump the blood that your body needs. We also learned about the respiratory system. Your respiratory system helps your body get the oxygen it needs from the air. And every living thing needs oxygen. Oxygen is in the air around us. An important part of our respiratory system is our lungs, right? We can feel them fill up with air when we breathe in. We also learned about the digestive system. Our meals are an important part of our day because the food we eat provides the nutrients our body needs to live and grow. The job of the digestive system is to break down the food we eat into nutrients our body can use. Digest and break down. Those are two different ways to say either food comes in, it needs to be broken down, or digested into nutrients our body can use. Do you remember we looked at a picture of the digestive system and we said you could put these in order? The food goes into your mouth, number 1. The food goes down into your stomach, number 2. Then as it breaks down, it moves into the small intestine, and last to the large intestine, okay? So we've been learning about all these different parts. The stomach is an important part of the digestive system. It's just like a bag of a muscle that the food goes into. Okay, isn't it amazing to think of how our bodies are made and things that are happening in them all the time, whether we're aware of it or not, because God made us. Okay, on page 167, there's a good review of some of this information. It tells you on the page, you can use your glossary if needed, use your book if needed, to complete the definitions, and also let's make a chart of the systems we've learned about so far. Number 1 says the stomach is a bag of muscles that digest swallowed food. And then number 2 says Christians need to take care of their bodies. Just try to stay healthy and to glorify God. He made our bodies, so we want to do what we can to stay healthy and strong, right? 2 of the best ways we can help our bodies stay healthy and strong is to eat healthy food and to exercise. Let's write the body part in the box with the system it belongs to. Okay, so the first option they give you is blood vessels. Where does that go in our chart? Which body system? Well, blood vessels are part of the circulatory system. Remember, they're the tubes that move the blood where it needs to go so that the oxygen and nutrients get to your whole body. We also have, we have bones. Where do the bones go? Bones are the hard part of your body, right? That give you support, give you protection, and they help you move. Bones, that goes in the skeletal system. Heart. Now, heart works together in the circulatory system. Remember? Heart. And I see lungs. Lungs, we just talked about. Lungs are the main part of your respiratory system. Respiratory system helps you get the oxygen you need from the air. The next option is muscles, which we can tell muscles and muscular, they even sound similar, so we know that goes in the muscular system. And the last one says stomach. Stomach goes in the digestive system. So we make this little chart just to help us keep track of things we've learned about each system. And then there's a place for you to number the path of digestion in order, which we talked about when we looked at your book, okay? So I would like you to complete this page because you're getting ready to do your final science quiz.